There's a YouTube show full of fun facts you need to know. Carl rings the bell and the members show to the GMP morning show. Featured guests will come and they will blow your mind. The audience will do so in kind. A little vanity mixed with some insanity on the morning show at GMP. Hey, Gumpers.
Hey, you Gumpers, Munson here from expatsportugal.com with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. Podcast still hanging in the bounds. I was told by my podcast provider that I was locked out of my account because of a spam filter. That was to stop somebody else pretending to be me, setting up a fake account, pretending to be me, whilst I can't get in, who is actually me. Isn't it a funny time that we're living in? That and all sorts of other IT challenges. And I know before you Apple cult members tell me to get a Mac or something like that, I've put in some virus protection. And we know what happens, don't we, when you do that? You lose cookies. You lose the useful cookies, as well as getting rid of all the spyware and kind of Russians and Chinese and whoever else is lurking inside your computer. You get rid of some really useful things as well. It's a strange irony of our times, isn't it? When some of the security measures we put into place actually exclude ourselves from the very thing we're trying to do. Funny old times. Talking of funny old times, how's everybody doing? I haven't checked in with you for a little while. These are turbulent and strange times, aren't they? For one reason and another. And I just want to make sure everyone's doing okay. We are here for you at Expats Portugal and Good Morning Portugal. The Gumper community has open arms and lots of mother hen wings. Probably a mother hen only needs 2 of those, but we have those in abundance. If anybody wants to come under the wing of the Good Morning Portugal show and Expats Portugal, do so. If you're struggling a bit, it's fine to say so. If you're loving life in Portugal, it's also fine to say so, and you must send in pictures as well. 913-590-303. How's everybody doing? One of the things I've lost in my efforts to be more secure on my technology is the Today in Portuguese History jingle. So we'll have to do that without, you'll have to sing it yourself at home this morning while I sort that out. Let's see who's here. It's Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. It's Hump Day for much of the world that uses the calendar that goes from, I was going to say from Monday to Sunday. In Portugal, of course, it goes from Sunday to Saturday, doesn't it? With Monday being Segunda, the second day of the week. But anyway, Wednesday, sometimes known as Hump Day. My Friday is now Thursday with the way my week works out. Who cares? Who really cares? I mean, when you're an expat and you're retired, I guess these things mean less and less. Let me know how that is shaping up in your life or not, or losing shape in your life with how you observe or not, or respect or disrespect the calendars of the world, those conventions, those calendar conventions. Let me know how that is for you in whatever state of retirement you find yourself. I think Deagle's a bit peeved this morning. 1 like, 5 watching. That's a ratio of 1/5. Nothing gets past Deagle this morning. He's not happy about it, is he? He's holding the keeper of the likes baton. I mean, are we finding that this is actually doing anything? I wonder. If you're new to this and wondering who this guy is wittering on under the banner of Good Morning Portugal, we are, of course, Expats Portugal, and we help people move to Portugal, and we support people once they've moved to Portugal. I think that just about sums it up. But I might have missed something. You tell me. How do you see Expats Portugal and Good Morning Portugal? What benefits do you get? I mean, as well as hitting the like button, why don't you tell people why you like Good Morning Portugal and Expats Portugal there in the chat, and they'll be able to see for themselves, okay? Because it's interesting, isn't it? Hitting the like button is a shortcut, isn't it? It's a shorthand. Like so many things in life, you know, we at some point, it might be that you ask a young person how they're doing, and they just give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down, and that is it. We don't want to go there, do we? Carl, bon dia de uma Belfast úmida. Humid Belfast. Weather to improve by Holy Thursday. Nice weather and good outdoor Easter. Tell me, how are things for the Easter celebrations? I was out and about yesterday. We collected some chickens. We have 3 chickens now, which is great in the back garden. And great to see Jed. What a lovely part of Portugal you live in, Jed. Just down the road from us, actually. When you go into the interior of the Silver Coast, it's like being in central Portugal. It's like, well, we are in central Portugal, aren't we? But moving back from the coast, if going forward backwards from the coast, you suddenly find yourself in beautiful countryside, not far from San Martinho de Porto's Bay. It's lovely over there. And we stopped off at a cafe not far from Atelier de Doce, which is a legendary cake maker of Portugal. They're shipping their bolo de Belém with all sorts of fillings all over Portugal, and they are delicious. And we stopped at a little cafe which didn't have bolo de Belém. It had its very own. It was a little bakery of its own, not far from Atelier de Doce, not far from San Martinho de Porto, where, of course, today we have a meetup from 1 o'clock today. Haven't decided on a venue. Maybe you can help me with that, everybody. But yeah, in the little cafe, got chatting to a lovely old lady in the village there, and my first official issuing of a Feliz Pascua, a happy Easter. It was lovely. My Portuguese is coming on. My comprehension is better. I would think I was getting probably 20 or 30% of what was being said. But that's critical mass in so many ways inside a conversation. And things were coming out of my mouth that I didn't really, not pastel de nata, but words, Portuguese phrases and so on. And I've come on a long way. And it's only by immersion that you find that, I would say. So it was great I didn't get her name, but it was lovely to sit and chat with this lovely lady in the middle of nowhere in a cafe. I recommend it. You drive into the middle of nowhere and practice your Portuguese. Thank me later. Some people walk in the rain, others get wet. Ooh, we're into that, are we, today? Some pithy words of wisdom. I've got one for you this morning. I saved it yesterday, actually. Thank you, Paul, for this. The great Phil Dunphy. Anybody know him? Always try and watch the sunset at least once a day. There you go. That's my contribution there. Profi Sabio's in, who has a midlife crisis world tour. Look at Portuguese history today. Bom dia todos, menos os espanhóis. Yes, of course. Dougie will be joining us this morning from Spain. And I decided, rather than hide the fact, we're all about authenticity and vulnerability here, aren't we, in this community, or as much as is humanly possible and as much as we can put up with of people's vulnerability and authenticity. It gets a bit much sometimes, doesn't it? Especially if you're British. Dougie's over in Spain. He gets about, does that lad, and he's our correspondent once a month, of course, now. And the doc also, who was formerly in this slot, just can't let it go, and will be tuning in or phoning in from Amsterdam. I call it. Does anyone still call it Holland? The Netherlands. I think he's been to the Netherlands. He might be in France. We'll find out. So the doc phoning in from somewhere in Europe, and I think it's safe to say Doug is in Spain and phoning in. And the Portuguese, of course, say only bad marriages and bad winds come from Spain. Let's see if Doug has got bad wind this morning. Let's not. For one breakfast only. Oh, yes, the Gilbert Gottfried RIP quote. Now, I didn't know about Gilbert Gottfried, but I have a podcast, really. Apparently, he was on the Norm Macdonald show. Is that right? These great comedians who I'm discovering slowly. And the only reason I found out about Gilbert Gottfried this morning was because Joe Rogan posted a picture up of him paying tribute to Gilbert, an amazing comedian who I've yet to make the acquaintance of, and I look forward to doing so. But sadly, we are, I guess the comedy world is looking at facing the loss of Gilbert Gottfried, but celebrating his incredible contribution by the sound of it. So let's see. At the Last Supper, how come no one sat on the other side of the table? See, I think originally there were people sitting on the other side, but those were the people going. Hold on a minute, where's the rest of it? Those were the people going, the air conditioning hits me right on the back of the neck. Okay, so we get the gist of the man there. Yes, so there were people. And you know what that's like, don't you? Come summer in Portugal, when the air conditioning's hitting you right on the back of the neck. Those were the people sat around that side of the table of the Last Supper. Very seasonal. Very topical. Thank you very much, Prof, for that. Hope the Pope's not watching. Bon dia, Alegria Gampers from T-Duck from Thunderduck this morning. How are you, mate? With a Joan Rivers quote. That's a bit unusual, isn't it? People say money is not the key to happiness, but I always figured if you have enough money, you can have a key made. Yes, Arthur C. Clarke. Reading computer manuals without the hardware. It's as frustrating as reading sex manuals without the software. Way, Arthur C. Clarke. And W.C. Fields. Is he the one? Oh, is he the one who said, "What would you like to drink, my dear?" And the girl says, "Champagne, I guess." Guess again. Is that W.C. Fields? I always cook with wine. Sometimes I even add it to the food. Now, that's been attributed to quite a few people, hasn't it? I imagine W.C. Fields did say that originally. Diet. What's this? Did I eat that? No need for fancy, crazy fads. Just eat a normal diet, but smaller portions. Look at this. Nutrition advice is one from Deagle. Who knew? Exercise a little, often go for long-term health improvements. No quick fixes. Human nature, though, isn't it, Deagle, to want a quick fix? You know, you see it in politics, don't you? Sack them. It's change. It gets emotional, doesn't it? It gets emotional. People want a quick fix. And they know, though, don't they? They know inside. They know the longer teeth of wisdom tell you, don't they, that long-term improvement and sustainable improvement is so much better than a fad and a quick fix. Oh, bit of sunshine on the green screen there. Did you see that? Thank you, Deagle, by the way, for your dietary and lifestyle advice. Follow him on Instagram for more. Bon dia, Gampers. The sundial casts me into a shadow, but I suppose that's how a sundial is supposed to work. You can tell by how dark my face is what time it is this morning. Bon dia, Gampers. Feliz Cataturos and Tal Taturo. Very good, James. Good morning to you. With the Dimitri Martin quote of the day. Come on, people watching this are thinking, "Good morning, Portugal." They've not quoted a single Portuguese wise person or comedian yet. Come on, we can do better. I went into a clothes store and a lady came up to me and said, "If you need anything, I'm Jill." I've never met anyone with a conditional identity before. Then she asked me what size I am, and I said actual. I think we've had that before, and I think it was even quoted by somebody else, wasn't it? What size I am, and I am actual size. Wasn't that at the Stephen? What's his name? Where did he go? Where did the quotable Stephen go? Okay, so today, right? Okay, boom, 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 boom. Boom. We can do the banner at least, can't we? Even if we haven't got the music today. Thank you, AVG, for helping me sort out my computer and lose loads of stuff. I mean, I know you mean well, AVG, and all those other virus protectors or whatever they're called. It's changed a lot since I first installed a virus protector in 1998, and I've not really been very good at it ever since, it has to be said. So let me just so you can see, in case you're new and wondering what on earth is going on. And yes, of course, you can join the Expats Portugal community at expatsportugal.com and take advantage of various membership levels as well, which will give you access to perks and benefits and even handheld step-by-step support in getting yourself to Portugal at expatsportugal.com. It's on the ticker tape at the bottom, premium and premium plus membership. Go check them out on a new tab. Don't open that on this tab or you'll lose us. And I think, are we going out on Facebook at the moment? I think we are, because that was another thing. My connections to Facebook for streaming seem to disappear as well. Anyway, if you're watching on Facebook, welcome, good morning. If you can't see me, there's no point saying that. This day in Portuguese history, then, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. The very famous George Santayana, whose quote there is used by and attributed to other people. So today in Portuguese history, let's take a look then. What's the Prof got for us this morning? How's it going anyway, Prof, with your life in Portugal? Do let us know. Today in Portuguese history, serious one, 1961. And there's a little clue here that there might be more than one. Today in Portuguese history, numero uno. Abrilhada, the 1961 Abrilhada coup fails. Unlike my chicken coop, which is a massive success, but the Abrilhada coup fails. Attempt to overthrow Salazar, led by the Minister of Defense, Botelho Muniz, known as Abrilhada. It fails in 1961. The failed plot aimed at overthrowing not only Salazar, but also the president, Américo Tomás, Emanate I've never not heard that one before. Mainly due to their intransigence over decolonization. Instead, Salazar expands the war in Africa, doubling down in a strongman gesture there, right? We see this pattern, don't we, with such characters. Today in Portuguese history too, 1906, mutiny on board the cruisers Dom Carlos and Vasco da Gama. The mutiny was in protest against the living conditions on board. Nothing to lose here. We'll have a mutiny. The government sent Admiral Ferreira do Amaral with instructions at all costs to put an end to the insurrection. Is there a movie of this? I want to see this. I want to see this in an artistic portrayal. It sounds like the beginnings of an excellent dramatization, including making several promises it had no intention of keeping. What? So, oh, right. Okay. The government said, okay, yes, if you stop this nonsense, we will improve things, with no intention of doing so. That's not like governments, isn't it? Governments have changed since then, haven't they? The repression of the mutineers was harsh, with 41 imprisoned for 15 to 20 years and deportations to the colonies. So, yes, we will improve your conditions. Stand down now, gentlemen. And they stood down, and then they got banged up for it, for their trouble. Oh, gosh, human history. We do need to learn from it, don't we? This little-known episode in Portuguese history, says the prof, shares much of the characteristics of the uprising aboard the battleship Temkin, or in June 1905 in Russia, like a morphic resonance going around the world, uprisings to see if we could stand and push against those seeking to control and restrict and oppress us. Incredible. Thank you very much there, Prof. Eusebio, this morning for two quite serious today's in Portuguese history. Thank you very much for those. We do love those. And yes, please give the prof a little bit of love in the chat and the comments, if you will. It's easy to take people for granted. I try not to do that. I love your contributions, Prof. Eusebio. Keep them coming. Wow, we are having a hellacious snowstorm here in Oregon. Now, this is an adjective I'm not familiar with, but it just kind of does what it says on the tin, right? Hellacious over there in Oregon. Dang, my garden is not going to like this. Oh, well, what can you do but smile with Mother Nature? Yes, well, she is snowing on you today, and it sounds pretty grim. I got a picture. Or did you already send a picture? Let me just have a look. I think you might have done that, mightn't you? Pictures in from others this morning. Thank you very much for those, including one from myself. Saw a fantastic road sign yesterday in Salir de Porto, and which I wanted to share with you. I did Spain this morning, and we will check him out a little bit later on. And the doc will be calling in from somewhere in Europe as well. Euro. I'm not quite sure what to do about the meetup. I think we need to be inside today. Yeah, it's looking a bit cloudy out there. You can see an occasional flash of sunshine across my screen. Marty's here. Yay. Hola, bon dia, Gumpers. Woot, woot, from Cavilla. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. Now, there's some words. He's not quoting anyone. Let's quote him. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it get away. That is Marty. Somebody write that down so that we can say it again another day here. Hola, bon dia, Alegria from Barry. Maybe we'll see you later on today, Barry. I think you were in the right place last week, although as it turns out you're in the wrong place. It might be the right place for this week. I think Samar is going to be our venue. I think we need to be inside. Samar's got a little bit of outside seating space, and we can always have a little toddle on the beach afterwards, can't we? So Ramadan Mubarak. If I said that right, Ramadan anyway. Hey, Oregonians loving Portugal, just watching Wild Wild Country on Netflix. Do you remember those shenanigans? Are you close to where Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh was getting up to a few interesting twists and turns and building his community there in Oregon? Is that right? Is that near you, OLP? And what an amazing, again, interesting insight into the human psyche, is it not? Wild, wild country. It all goes a bit pear-shaped, doesn't it, when people get into intentional community so often? But then again, you don't hear about the ones that are working, do you? That's human nature. We tend to focus on the ones that have all that intrigue, don't we? Good morning all from Sam Nazareth in Australia. Good morning to you, mate. How are you? And so we are playing snow and Christmas songs with our fire going. Second Christmas over there for the OLP. Bon dia de Reguengos de Monserrat. We have not followed for long. No, you've not been here for a while, have you, Rena? Great to have you here. And I love your YouTube picture. Did you take that yourself of a ladybug, as you call them in America? There, lovely picture. And you've sent some in, haven't you? So let me just share those with everybody. Very, very slow this morning on what, but it's okay. Actually, the picture I'm downloading says so to take it easy, that I'm going to share with you in just a moment. I think it's finally cranked into position. So we've got some Montserrat pictures. Can you tell us a bit more about Montserrat, if you will? Rena, it'd be great to learn a little bit more about Montserrat. We can do that visually, of course, but give us a bit of backstory if you. Avenida de Hercules, Sevilla. So he's made it to Seville. Oh, and he's set himself up outside on a laptop. Top man. Let's see how long he's buried in Seville. But I've got to say, that's got to cut a dash over there in Seville. The Englishman has set himself up. It's almost like the BBC are in town here. But Dougie is broadcasting live from Sevilla in Spain there. And okay, pictures to come then. So let's have a look at Dougie's setup over there in Seville this morning. Look, this is how he's established himself. This is the German equivalent, I suppose, of putting a towel on a recliner. Dougie turns out and puts his laptop and microphone on a table. Look who's in town. Guess who's back? And from Montserrat there. So look at this. Thank you, Rena, for these. What's going on there? We need to know more. I almost thought you could go and have your photo taken by sticking your head through one of those apertures there, but they're a little bit small, aren't they, for that? But look in the distance there. Are we looking at the Alentejo landscape there? I may be wrong. This is the landscape just down the road from me. Isn't that brilliant? That sign that says, quietly, tranquilamente. That's beautiful. Does that mean tranquility as well, Portuguese scholars? I know it means quietly, doesn't it? And it's certainly one translation I've seen. But isn't that a lovely road sign? I'd like to see more of those in Portugal. And look, another view of Montserrat's castle there. So, Rena, thank you very much for sending those in. Dougie getting ready. Going to talk to him about bad winds and bad marriages in just a moment. If it's true that that's the only thing that comes from Spain. He is coming from Spain. This morning. Fantastico, says James, for some reason. Oh, and OLP, about the Rajneeshis up in Antelope, Oregon, back in the 80s. So I don't think the OLP does seem to know anything about that, but we'll see. Hola, Gompers from Baldilocks. Good morning to you. Baldilocks, how you doing? How's California? And it's been a chilly week over there in central Portugal for the prof and for Marty, who's over that way as well. I was living in Oregon when the Rajneeshis were in the news often. Yeah. How was it, Marty? Tell us a little bit more. Very, very... See, I knew it. I'm very fascinated. Osho made some interesting contributions to the human mind, I think, but that didn't come alone. Switch to, I suppose those are strangely well-chosen words, not coming alone, given some of the activities that went on there. Switch to Mac. You see, I knew it. Somebody from the Apple cult was bound to say that. And actually, while you're there, and this is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. There, an issue that comes up is keeping a phone from your home country, from your origin, so that you can keep in touch, so you can get passwords and codes sent to your old phone, which might be registered with PayPal or your bank or something like that. Now, I've got an old iPhone that I use for that. I think my provider has turned me off, so to speak, despite saying that they were going to switch me back on to roaming so that I could get those codes sent to me, which I don't think will come across the Wi-Fi networks. They'll only come, even though I know Apple products do send messages via the network, the Wi-Fi network, the internet. If you haven't got your telecoms, the telephone network, the mobile network connected, you're not going to get to receive some of these things, which then cuts you off from some of your financial infrastructure. Now, the other thing that occurred to me, and you might be able to help me with this as an Apple cult member, Sam, which could be useful to other people, is if you've ever had an Apple device, you've got to keep having one, haven't you? They've craftily done it so that if you log into your photos or your iTunes or something like that, they want to know, don't they, that you are who you say you are. and they want to send you code. So if I get rid of my Apple device and I don't have an iPad or an iPhone anymore, and I want to log in to some part of the Apple cloud, I'm not going to be able to do that, am I? So they're making me dependent in a very cynical commercial move there. Is that true, Sam? And this is something we should talk about, I think, for people who are coming and bringing phones from their country of origin, and how that works to have those codes sent. And has anyone burnt their bridges with telecoms here? Have you just got rid of everything from your home country and just made the transition to just using Portuguese telecoms? Do let me know in the chat. That would be great. So yes, Marty was there. Did you get to meet Osho at all? Did you see him drive past in one of his Rolls Royces? I suppose it has been chilly by Portugal standards, but being from Alaska, it hasn't phased us much. Yeah, the thermals were on and ready for central Portugal, I suspect. Good morning, everyone. I'm one of those struggling. I'm looking for a van to relocate me from Caldas de Rainha to Leiria in the next 2 days. Please, thank you. So can we help Owen there? He needs a lift from Caldas to the Caldas area to Leiria. That's probably only about 50 kilometers, isn't it? But need some help with that shifting stuff. Thank you, Owen. Let's see if we can help you this morning. What's going on? James is having some sort of episode as well there, expressed in emojis, I think, as well. Only on episode 4, but fascinating. Marty, no spoilers, please. We know how that ends, though, don't we? St. Catherine is here. Bom dia, Carl and friends. I tell all my Portuguese friends and others about your show. Cheers, Catherine. Really appreciate that. And isn't it funny when you call somebody not the name they have on their online identity? Kate to us, of course. Catherine Conan on YouTube. I like Expats Portugal because it's a great source of info on moving to Portugal, and Good Morning Portugal for the good vibes and entertainment and knowledge. Yes, thank you so much. Screenshot. Thank you very much for that. Let me see if this does anything weird now. AVG has been installed. Goodbye. If that's what happened, let's see. Oh no, that was okay. We managed to get past printing the screen there. A European. Cheers, Sam. Really appreciate it, and it is a real honor for us to have you tuned in from Australia. It says something, doesn't it? Drew's here. Where have you been, Drew? You don't have to explain yourself. We're not like that here. It's like having an old friend. You just don't have to explain yourself. You turn up and we're glad to see you. But actually, where have you been? A European social news source for me, a great community. And in years, I can't do 2 screenshots. Can somebody write these down? A great community, and in years to come, a valuable knowledge hub when I finally make my way there. So these are being laid down like wines, these episodes, and you go back and blow the dust off them. And this is incredible vintage from 2022 when he was talking about whether or not to get rid of your old phone. Very good, Drew. Thank you. Hola de Australia. A good couple of Aussies in this morning. Nice one. Do you know each other? It's not a big place, is it? Brian Taylor, bon dia, Carl, as well, is here. Thank you, Brian. Great to see you both. Storm and yourself. My sister had a boyfriend from there not too many years ago. It was so funny, as she is not liberal at all. So is that the sister that had a boyfriend who was a Rajneeshi? Now, they can be strange partners, can't they? Quite open-minded, if you get my drift. Don't forget transparency. No. Did I forget transparency? Well, I will transparently, authentically, and vulnerably own that right now. I'm so sorry. Mea culpa for forgetting transparency. Thanks, James. Bon dia. Andy's here, getting ready to head off down south to spend a few days with you residents of the B-Day of the Marquise. What? Do not call San Martino de Porto a B-Day. What does that mean? Please explain yourself. There's a diplomatic outrage brewing there. Bon dia from Pam. Morning, Pam. How you doing? And Laura P is here. Morning, Laura. Hi, everyone. I missed it for a long time, but been very, very busy. Come back after a break. I took joining a Portuguese group in Tamar. Now I sit and enjoy this. Well, good. That's the idea. Gilbert doing... Morning, Laura. Good bon dia, I mean. Gilbert doing the aristocrats joke. It was something to behold. Not for the easily offended, however. You've been warned. Okay, must check out Gilbert. And if the Last Supper was in Portugal, they would all be watching the television. So no one on the other side of the table. There you go. You can't see the TV on the wall out of picture on depictions of the Last Supper. Explained in a thoroughly Portuguese way there. I'm talking about thoroughly Portuguese, which he is on occasion. Let's bring onto the screen now. It's 9 o'clock. Let's bring Douglas Hughes live from España. How are you doing, Doug?
I suppose I should say buenos dias.
Buenos dias to you. We don't often say that because we are aware of the slightly uncomfortable, and I don't know if it's just for show and for fun. I suspect that is the case, but there is a slightly uncomfortable relationship between Portugal and Spain. It's a kind of neighbourly rivalry, isn't it? What's it like from your point of view, looking from Spain into Portugal this morning, Doug?
I haven't thought about that aspect, but it's gorgeous here. I think we all did. You have any thunderstorms in Portugal yesterday? As we did over here.
No, I didn't. But funnily enough, I did. Deagle sent in a picture from his local supermarket a little while ago, and I think some food. I mean, there is some weird weather going on in Spain, which I think you are alluding to there. But the Saharan sand is covering food in Spain that is then shipped to the UK, and they even put signs on some of the food in the UK saying like please forgive all the sand on the food. I suppose that's because you're paying for it, aren't you? By the time it gets weighed, you're paying for the extra Saharan sand that's on your food, and they're urging people to wash it off. So weird weather then over there in Spain.
A bit of extra as fertilizer for the garden in the UK. I think it's supposed to be good for the garden.
It is. You're right. But I don't know if it should be ingested directly.
Ooh, no.
And maybe blow it off onto your whatever you're growing in your Dig for Victory garden out the back.
My coffee was a bit gritty this morning, but there we are.
Oh, okay. So there's the first comparison to make, please, if you will. They say, I mean, the reason I'm talking about this rivalry and slight discomfort is there is a Portuguese phrase that says only bad marriages and bad winds come from Spain. On the coffee front. How would you make the comparison? Do you prefer Portuguese or Spanish coffee?
I'm used to Portuguese coffee, aren't I? More than over here. I'm just traveling through Spain on way to Portugal. So no, I think Portuguese is almost certainly nicer. It's more like what you get in the UK here, but smaller portions. You get a bucket full of coffee in the UK, don't you? Them great big bloody mugs like this, and here they're bijou.
We don't know what the we're very continental this morning. Bijou from Spain talking to Portugal. This is fantastic. So you are, so the backstory then, you are on your way to Portugal, are you, Doug? You're on a bit of a European tour.
Well, we were going to go to Italy, but we decided not to do that simply because there were reports of shortages of diesel. We experienced that in France, and we experienced that in the UK. It was a little bit hairy in Calais, trying to get some diesel for the car. So France was terrible, especially northern France. Further south you got, it was a bit better.
In terms of diesel supply?
That people were just panicking. There was all sorts of news going around about a week ago about potential shortages, wasn't there? And people were actually panic buying and draining the forecourts.
Wow. So this is something to bear in mind now, obviously, when traveling across Europe by car. There may or may not be a shortage of fuel, and fuel prices are rising, but the mere mention of it causes people, of course, to go rushing out and buying it, thereby causing a shortage.
Weirdly, there was no shortage of petrol, just diesel. Isn't that strange? Really strange, actually.
I suppose the haulage industry likes to fill up, doesn't it, at these times? Because I guess diesel is the most commercially exploited of the fossil fuels, I'm guessing.
I've read that 85%, which is astonishing, of the road of the logistical side of life, supplying shops and forecourts and what have you, 85% goes by road in Italy. So obviously there's going to be a shortage of road fuel, isn't there? If people are panic buying on top.
Amazing. So there you are, and I'm so pleased to see you're formally attired, like a BBC announcer. Some habits die hard, don't they? I love it how you get dressed up for the radio.
This is just a travel blazer. I always wear this to go around because I love having the pockets for my sunglasses, for my phone, for my spare specs, for my readers. So basically, it's a very heavily laden blazer. It's more like a sack.
Yeah, but you say that, Doug. I mean, you look great, and you are presenting a certain kind of image, which I think is excellent for European travel. I mean, how many people have got a travel blazer?
Oh, I think that I see quite a few people, especially here in Spain, having a jacket like this. In the cities, maybe more than the countryside, I suppose.
Well, long way to
Yeah.
continue. I think it's great. I do
Yeah.
think it's better than a fanny pack for all those little bits and pieces, don't you?
I've never owned one.
Okay, let's see what people think about that. Because actually, that is a pretty good a thing to be talking about this morning. It is Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday, of course, but you're very welcome to ask anything about European travel. A lot of people who want to come and live in Portugal are thinking it's a great base for touring the rest of Europe, and Dougie is very well experienced in this. If you want to ask him any questions about moving around Europe, you can do so. You heard him talking there about traveling from the UK through France into Italy, Spain, and coming on a big arc back into Portugal. Where are you going to land in Portugal, Doug, when you finally get here?
First stop will be around Corteira, maybe. We have something booked, but I can't remember quite where. Somewhere on the Algarve, and then we're going to gradually make our way northward and back up into Spain eventually. And the missus wants to spend a few days in Bordeaux, drinking wine, no doubt.
Very good, very good. So, any questions about traveling in Greater Europe? I don't know if it's ever called that, but if traveling around the European continent, Dougie knows all about it, as well as his great love of Portugal, for which he is famous as well. So I don't know if we can help with this one, Dougie. Wow, trying to get to Portugal, but what type of COVID test do you need? 24 hours rapid antigen? PCR, says Marty. He's just done it. PCR test on a 72-hour window. You know, that phrase there, we know what that means now, but 3 years ago, that would have just looked like a really weird, misplaced comment, wouldn't it? PCR test, 72-hour window. How is that affecting your movement around Europe, Doug?
We didn't need any to get into France, and we certainly didn't need any to get into Spain, because we simply crossed the border in somewhere over the Pyrenees, in some tiny little out the way village, and there was certainly no police asking us to do, but we had, made sure that we didn't need any before crossing.
Yeah, but no one's asking.
No. And the other thing, there's no need for any of these passenger locator things anymore either.
Wow, that's because you're UK though, right? That would be different for a US citizen, I suspect.
Yeah. UK. I don't know what the rules are for outside Europe and the UK. Honestly, I don't.
All right.
But so far we haven't needed anything. And I don't believe we need anything to come into Portugal either. But we will obviously double check.
Yeah, of course. And I think you're unlikely to be challenged on the border driving through. They're not constantly manned, are they? This is what surprises people.
Sometimes the hotels will ask you for proof of your vaccines, which we've got, of course.
Yeah. Okay. So at Oregonians OLP, Sharon stepping in to help. Good morning to you, Sharon. PCR NAAT test 72 hours before boarding, or a rapid antigen, a TRAG test 24 hours before boarding. There you go. All helping out in a hive mind kind of way, which is what we're all about here on the Good Morning Portugal show. No snow yet in California. We had a heat wave last week. Weather madness. Much cooler this week, and a wee bit of rain on Monday. Wild weather the last 7 days. Oh, hold on a minute. Are we going to get to meet somebody here?
No, I'm just going to get some coffee.
Oh, excellent. Well, if that person wants to say hi, I mean, how have they taken to you setting up your studio on their table there?
Oh, no problem, because I'm well out of the way.
Okay, excellent. Well, I really like what you've done there. My freight should arrive at 9 a.m. this morning. Oh, so Andrew had his stuff sent from the UK to Portugal. If you want to know how he did that, of course, he's open to those sorts of questions. People moving things from UK to Portugal. All about the questions, all about helping each other here on Good Morning Portugal and on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. OLP, we flew TAP 10 days ago and did so with a PCR test. So these are confusing times, but I suppose do as much as you possibly can to cover all of those bases. I think we are bringing a picture together of what you need, OLP, here. Oh, what's this? TAP A320, clip to wing while trying to land at Stockholm. Don't say things like that. A bit fresh in Seville this morning, you said. So, yeah, can you elaborate on this weather report for us this morning? What's it been like?
Oh, it's awful yesterday. Rain, and thunderstorms, of course. But we were traveling across the mountains yesterday, so it didn't bother us that much. But this morning, it's gorgeous. It's beautiful blue skies. So yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
What have you got?
I've got myself a coffee. Yeah,
another coffee. Any brandy in it or anything this morning?
No, I could do with a brandy in it this morning. Actually, I might ask for one of those.
What would the Spanish equivalent be of the aguardente then?
We got one the other day. We didn't even ask for it. We're in Granada, and we ordered some coffee as a bit of a nightcap, and two I think they were like brandy, like Spanish brandy, arrived, and they were rather nice.
Very good. Very good.
Certainly helped knock me out.
Living the dream.
Absolutely.
Okay. Enjoy your visit to Pete and Diane's. That sounds like a very homely B&B, doesn't it? Pete and Diane's.
Oh yeah.
So the prof over to go to Pete and Diane's B&B, Central Portugal. Thanks for popping over yesterday. There he is, Pete of Pete and Diane, to Andy, and for sharing the beautiful Alpha with everyone. Oh, the pictures of you at the airport are amazing. Alpha the Great Dane greeting Andy yesterday on his return to Portugal. Eusebio, really looking forward to seeing you today. It's 1 in 1 out over there in Fundão. Love these history clips. Oh, we're going back a bit in the comment stack here. Yes, me too. Cheers, Prof. And Cindy B's here. Bon dia, Alegria Gumpers. Misbehaving computer here this morning. Oh, solar flare alert. Please thank Margarita. She is just so lovely. Hope the unpacking goes well. She's a midwife. Midwives are just amazing people. Hola, bon dia, todos. Faixa do dia. Gladys Knight and the Pips heard it through the grapevine. Of course, the original, right? Or one of the early versions to be recorded before Marvin Gaye got hold of it. Summer of Soul documentary showed a brilliant performance during the festival bank in 1969. Yeah, amazing. 1969, Dougie. We weren't even born then, were we?
I was sadly born in 1964.
Has Carl borrowed your computer this morning? Andrew Gilchrist, getting glitches circa 1980. Oh, are you? Oh, it's your Apple that's playing up, I suspect, Pete. Good morning. You can't say things like that to Apple people. They go apoplectic. Apoplectic,
yeah.
Yes. Good morning. They will not have anything. It's like being, I think that's the strength of community is similar to the aforementioned Osho, Sri Rajneesh Bhagwan community. They will probably start living together, Apple owners, at some point in the same sort of way as the Osho people did. Watch out, Oregon. Good morning, everybody from João F. João, as a Portuguese man, what do you think of the Portuguese-Spanish relationship? We have Dougie in Seville this morning, reporting live from his breakfast table. Have you had breakfast yet, Doug?
No, I'm gonna wait. Otherwise, I'll have crumbs all over my travel blazer.
You will. We don't want crumbs on the travel blazer, do we? And where's your cravat today? Do you have a cravat in your one of the pockets of your?
No, I haven't brought my cravat. I haven't worn that for a while. I tend to wear it in winter when it's cold.
Yes, a nice little muffler around. Who doesn't like a muffler first thing in the morning? And what is a Spanish breakfast? Please do not search Portuguese breakfast. That brings up some terrible search results. But Portuguese breakfast, is one thing. Spanish breakfast. What would you have? What would you be grabbing in the morning there? Probably not grabbing. More leisurely than that.
Tostadas is one of the things they bring you, which is just basically a baguette sliced in half. And then they put various things on it, like tomatoes, ham, cheese, and if you're really lucky, and you might even get some strawberry jam, which is what I usually go for.
Strawberry jam? What? Because they know you're a tourist, or is that traditional?
No, I just ask for it if it's available. But sometimes they drizzle sort of olive oil all over their toasts here as well, which isn't something I fancy first thing in the morning.
Okay, all right. So tapas on toast, by the sound of it, traditional Spanish breakfast.
Yeah.
Bon dia from Sarah. Morning, Sarah. How you doing? And Stubel and Sharon H and Mary, simply on the screen there. Suze is here. Oh, off to sell snow tires and other extras from the van soon, lightening the load and heading towards Portugal. Great news, Suze. It's a choir, but they are all singing flat. What is he? He's been on the mushrooms or something this morning. He's been foraging.
Yeah, magic ones.
Hola, Joe, from Marty as well. Is there Joao, I think that probably is, isn't it? Good morning, people from Lima Grady as well. Head gardener is here. Marvelous. And Chris is also here. Yes, Chris's Bluegrass group, with the occasional meetup in San Martino de Porto. We will decide on a venue for that, and looking forward to seeing you and family again today, Chris, later on today in the Bay. It's going to be a good one, a good gathering, I think. Matty's also here from Amsterdam. We are so pan-European this morning. The doc is going to phone in Doug from wherever he is on the road.
Wow, brilliant.
Question then on Ask Anything About Portugal Wednesday. Why are the police stopping vans and checking the cargo? What are they looking for? I don't know. We'll leave that hanging there, I suppose. It's just something that happens, isn't it?
Whereabouts is this happening? On the Portuguese-Spanish border?
I think he's probably talking about Lisbon because he might have been stopped. He's a white van man, isn't he? And I guess this is one of the problems of driving around in a white van. The police do,
mate, you know.
Yeah, they want to occasionally stop you and ask you what you got in the back there. And of course, Lee has just got plants and garden machinery and so on in there. It's quite clear, I suspect, when you open the back of your van.
A bit of garden machinery coming around now to make a noise, by the way.
Oh, that's all right. So, you love the atmosphere. We love the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Good grief, Carl. Don't be naive. As all the telecom systems are like so many follow the dollars. What? Shock horror. They're not just out for your money, are they? The Apple walled garden. You can remove all old devices from your iCloud account, so Apple will know to not send codes to them. But how do I get in? I'm not worried about getting out. I'm worried about getting in and being excluded from the Apple cult. I have a dual SIM cell phone and use a SIM from the Netherlands as well as from Portugal. In time, Dutch providers will close a Dutch card when being one. Yes, if you don't get a ping from on a local cell tower, I suppose they realise you're not there and they don't want to honour your roaming anymore, do they? Vodafone UK cut me off early on, so I haven't had a UK number for 6 years. I think I'm going to have to burn my telecoms longboat, everybody. I am a 100% Portugal connected, says James. So 6 months in and he's not bothering about staying in touch. He's just dealing with it. Yeah, it's one less. I don't want two phones. It makes me look like a drug dealer. Oregonians loving Portugal, maybe a rapid antigen test, but I believe you need the results to board the plane, so it may be risky to wait until you get to the airport. Yes, but not 100%. Check with the airline. Yes, computing platforms, including Apple, are all vulnerable to social engineering, of course. For most of us, this is the more dire threat. Social engineering, that's really worrying, isn't it? Bhagwan Pete Bleaches can be Bhagwan Pete Bleach rather than Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. Yes, watch out for it as a Netflix documentary in years to come. Right, so you say you're on your way to Portugal, Doug. I think we need to give people the backstory of your love of Portugal, mainly of the south. Is that true that your heart belongs to the Algarve?
No, it's the Algarve was the first place I actually visited. But for that visit, I've been traveling around the whole of Portugal, and I do love the region you live in, north of Lisbon, from Sintra to Peniche, and Nazaré, of course. All places I really enjoy visiting.
All right. So, any questions about those folks? Just put them in for Doug here. I would say, and I'm sure you'd be quite modest about this, Doug, but you have an encyclopedic knowledge of Portugal. How many years have you been coming to Portugal?
Oh, over 10 now. Around about 12 altogether, I think. Yeah.
And we are experiencing an incredible hockey stick interest. A hockey stick, not an interest literally in hockey sticks. I don't think I've seen many hockey sticks in Portugal, but the curve of interest. If it were a graph of interest and people moving to Portugal, I think there's a hockey stick phenomenon going on. You know, it's been a gradual incline, probably over those last 10 years. Are you noticing anything about now with this sudden upturn in interest in Portugal?
Yeah, I hear of so many people who want to come over there to live. It's just incredible. I think people are tempted by, of course, the magnificent weather, the friendly atmosphere, and I think there's also a draw, isn't there, for the cost of living disparities between UK and Portugal are much greater than ever now, because and people are retired people especially are drawn to that, I think.
Doug, I was lip reading there, or I could see that you were talking. When the doc called in, I answered the phone, which then stopped me hearing you. So next time the doc calls in, I'm going to pick it up on my phone. And now I just have it may be that nobody can hear me anymore. So
I can hear you. You're all right.
Do that. Yes, I think I am being heard.
Yeah.
but maybe I'm not. So I'm just going to refresh my browser, everybody. Hold tight.
Okay, he's refreshing his browser, so it's only me now. So, as he's refreshing his browser, I'm actually sitting here on I think this is called
I think Doug was on his own there for a minute.
Avenida
I still can't hear you,
Henrique.
unfortunately, Doug. So I'm going to try a few different settings, and I won't be answering the phone again in quite that way. So let me just do a few things here to see if we can get you, see if I can hear you, and hopefully everyone else can hear us as well.
Yeah. You've gone. I can't hear you at all now.
Two. Oh, this is embarrassing, isn't it?
Let me just see if I can check this out on my telephone. Carl, see if
oh dear. What are we going to do about this situation here, Doug? Keep speaking for me if you will, Doug. I think people can hear you, and I'm going to hold my nerve and see if I can get.
Yeah. I can hear myself, but I can't hear Carl. Something has gone wrong with the technology this morning. So I don't know if any of you guys can actually hear me or not, but yeah. No, they can hear me apparently, but they can't hear Carl. So I don't know whether I should just keep on talking. I think I might just keep on talking by the look of things. So poor old Carl is having terrible problems this morning, and I hope to goodness that things are going well, and you can at least hear me, guys. We're hoping to get the doc on this morning. As I said earlier on, here I'm sat here on the Avenida de Hercules. Excuse my pronunciation here. As you can see live in Seville, and still I can see Carl, but I cannot hear him. Maybe I should be quiet. I don't know. It's gone a bit pear-shaped this morning, hasn't it, here on GMP? I'll let the master carry on, and I'll mute myself just to see what happens.
Yeah, 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4.
No, Carl. Yeah, I can hear you. Yep. Well, I could for a minute. Okay.
1 2 1 2. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That's working now, isn't it?
I can hear you again, Carl.
Look, I've rescued it. That's really great. Yay, Carl and Doug now. Dougie, that was a bit of a moment, wasn't it? But we've both had these. We've both had these moments before in our respective broadcasting careers. We stayed calm and we carried on. It was the doc that messed us up there. But
he's always messing people up. That doc.
He is that guy, isn't he? He is that guy. If it's not politics, it's technology with him now. Okay, so I think we're both good, and yes, I can hear you both now. So which
one of the BBC lady news presenters was invaded, and what she came along and said, "Oh, we've been rather invaded." Who was that?
I can't remember. That's so British, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's this? So the PM and the Chancellor. I don't know if anyone else in the world is aware of the political storm or the continued political storm in the UK, but our Prime Minister over there in the UK and the Chancellor of the Exchequer have been fined for partying during the pandemic. What next? Whilst I think it could be dangerous to have you and the doc talking about this, if we
No,
can.
I think we'd be on the same page here, because it's disgusting that they think they can get away with it, frankly.
Yes, but what would be next, Doug? If we could just go here for a minute, because it is, I think it's scalable, if you like. This is a situation around the world where people are thinking, we want to get rid of these people, but who do we replace them with? This
is a problem, isn't it?
Problem, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. I mean, there's no obvious successors, is there, to them at this stage? So
No.
we don't want to be rudderless either, although sometimes I think we might as well be.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Well, that's one solution, I guess, the do nothing option and see what happens. What's this? Pete, I knew that would work. You appear to have a firm connection. Who doesn't like a firm connection first thing in the morning? What did you do, Pete, there? Was it some psychic surgery on our technology that you did there from over there in central Portugal, picking up on those old traditions? Oregonians loving Portugal. Açores first. So Baldilocks is coming into the Azores. Have you been there, Doug? That wonderful part.
No, I haven't been. I haven't even been to Madeira, which is something I'd really like to do. But so far, it's only been the mainland that I've visited.
Wow. Okay. So not Madeira either.
No, I haven't done Madeira. My mum loves Madeira. She used to go there all the time. She used to travel with her sister. And Madeira was one of their favorite places.
Yes. Well, we do have to go to the Azores, of course, as Baldilocks is wanting to do there. Les Gallagher, we spoke to a few days ago, who's the incredible illustrator, boat captain, and bar owner over there. I was talking to Mark and Mary, who we work with on the Premium Plus. What's that? Are you saying goodbye, or was that a fly on the screen?
It was a fly on the screen.
Okay, right. Mark and Mary want to make their home in the Azores over there. We work with them on the Premium Plus membership. And they're going to be working with Les. And we were in communication yesterday saying what an incredible person Les is, building a bar and a cafe, restaurant community there, as well as being an incredible illustrator. He did those beautiful, what did he call them, megafauna illustrations of sea creatures on the Azores. So I think an Expats Portugal meetup on the Azores 1 year will be great. We'll have such fun there, I think, because that hostelry looks so cool. Les's bar over there. So great to talk to you yesterday, Mark and Mary. Let's go back to some of the earlier questions that we've got. Carl is silent but can hear Doug. Thanks for keeping that going, Doug. I think we might have missed a few bits and pieces before there. Oh, Andy doesn't have the link. That's why we were struggling to get him on board. Let's do that. Okay. That's of course why it will have been difficult. Now, if he hasn't got the hump with me, we'll get him on in just a moment. I thought he might. I thought he might call in. So holiday alert. Just found out this Friday is a holiday. Of course, it's Good Friday. Much sign of Easter in of course, Catholic country, Spain. Much sign of Easter going on there?
There was supposed to be a massive parade on last night. These guys that dress up with those huge, they look, I'm sorry, but they look like the Ku Klux Klan in these weird things that have got like a huge spiky druid hat. It is unfortunate. Yes. Some are dressed in white, top to bottom, and some are dressed in black. But the rain stopped play last night, so I presume that it'll all be kicking off tonight. So we're looking forward to that.
Wowzers.
Oh, you've frozen again.
Easter alive and well in Spain. Again. No, we're good. We're good. I think it was just trying to send the doc the link. I find out these things by chance. It's so often the way in Portugal, Rebel Mama. Usually when I'm trying to do something at a place that is closed, the last to know they're up in northern Portugal. And we, of course, heard, didn't we, from the wonderful chap. I forget his name now. But the chap who with Lonnie did the tour of the Carretos in Podence. Why is it we can't find out what's going on in Portugal? Well, because we already know it's going on. So there's a little bit of an event marketing and management opportunity for somebody there. Okay. Choir singing flat was a reference to the sculpture. Oh, Montserrat. Have you been there, Doug? Montserrat, Reguengos and Montserrat in Portugal?
think the first time you ever featured any of my articles on GMP, you actually read an article out I did about Montserrat.
Of
That's a
course,
picture
yes.
of the El Cueva Dam in the distance there, isn't it?
Top man.
But yeah, Montserrat is the old city, the old walled city. It's beautiful, elevated, and you've got a fabulous view. And then you've got Reguengos de Montserrat, which is more of a town, and the town where they generate and produce a great deal of Reguengos vino.
Ah, yes, I've been buying that for Mrs. M recently. Okay, so that is the place where the wine comes from.
Yeah, there's a huge factory not terribly far from the town centre, actually.
Okay, there is the castle there. It is part of a walled city, which Maxine was trying to tell us about, which I'm trying to find now, but I can't. Maxine, can you repost your comments about Reguengos and Montserrat for us there? This is Lisa, good morning to you. So good to see you on the show this morning. Wouldn't Spain's equivalent to aguardente be a dry Jerez sherry? And bon dia from Terceira this morning. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah. The sherry from Jerez, they're very, very dry indeed. Nothing like the sweet sherries we've grown accustomed to in the UK. And by the way, Montserrat also has an ancient bull ring. So I imagine that they might have done bull running or even bull fighting back in the day in Montserrat.
Yes. Okay, so hit the like button, says Capricorn 12, 44 watching, only 20 likes. Indeed, and on Facebook as well. I think this is a YouTube phenomenon that whereabouts we were talking about hitting the like button, but you can do it on Facebook as well. It might help over there. Marty, I suppose the Aristocrats reference was about Gilbert Gottfried, RIP. I just got we are sorry to hear of the passing of Gilbert Gottfried, and whose work I want to learn more about. Much loved comedian. Look who's here now. The Doc is here. Doc, sorry about all of that malarkey earlier on.
Hello, Doc.
Well, I was feeling guilty, but I couldn't make you realise I didn't have the link. So.
Okay,
anyway,
sorry, mate.
I'm here
I
now.
thought you are here now. The show must go on. And where are you reporting in from Europe this morning?
Just exiting Paris, having negotiated the peripherique while trying to phone you and get a link and reassure Leona that I wasn't about to disappear underneath the nearest lorry.
Oh, well done, mate. Oh, my goodness. Okay, so you've been out and about up to the Netherlands, and we were asking Doug the same question. You know each other, of course, and I'm sure you will connect in due course in the show this morning.
Hello, Doc. How are you?
How's it been for you traveling across Europe?
Good, thanks. Well, it's been interesting. So we've... since last Tuesday, we left last Tuesday morning. We stopped in a lovely little family hotel on Tuesday night in Eibar in the Basque Country. Then we had a night in Caen in Normandy the following night, which was it was comfortable, but certainly not as spectacular or as good value for money as the one in Eibar. And then we went over to Winchester, stayed the night with my friends, our friends, Emma and Hugh, and then we took the ferry back from Dover to Dunkirk to stay with my sister last Friday and Saturday nights in Cologne.
Yeah.
And then we dropped my wheelchair in Nijmegen on the Monday morning. We had a couple of nice nights in Nijmegen. Met up with Matty yesterday for lunch in Nijmegen.
What?
Yeah, got down to... I've sent you a picture on the WhatsApp this morning. And last night got very late into a nice hotel in central Paris at 2 o'clock this morning, and 10 o'clock we were on the road. We've got a place in the Basque Country tonight, and we're going to be back in Leiria to see what Alicia's been up to with her friends by tomorrow night.
It seems that you and I have been doing Europe in opposite directions, Doc.
Yeah, it seems to be the case. Yeah, but talking about borders, so
Yeah.
you're supposed to have a bit of paper in Holland to produce, which talks about, I can't remember, but anyway, you're supposed to have a bit of paper. They're the only country that expect a bit of paper if you've come in by land.
Yeah.
Every other European country, and I mean Europe, not the UK, who is currently plague island outside Europe. That every country in Europe generally doesn't want anything as long as you're vaccinated, but they don't want any paper if you come in by land. But Holland seems to be the exception. Certainly among the countries that we visited.
Holland has always been a little bit. Holland has always been more strict than the rest for some reason.
Okay, and
Yeah.
whilst we're talking about Europe, for the benefit of our American friends, is it only British people who call the Netherlands Holland?
Yes, it appears to be the case, although everywhere seems to have their own name for it. The Spanish call it the flat country or something like that. The French, of course, call it la Pays Bas, the Low Countries. So yeah, but Netherlands or Netherlands is a common North European name for it.
Okay, and this is a hilarious comment from the prof. There was no border when I crossed, just a sign. And that, I mean, it is amazing. It's a bit of a letdown in a way, isn't it? I could have brought in uranium or even Bovril.
Yeah.
Bovril across the border. Amazing. And has that been the same for you? The same for you, Doc? Just free movement?
Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. And the weather, we need a weather report. UK people talking about life. The weather is always involved in that. How's your weather driving through Europe there?
Well, the weather up until this morning was beautiful, warm, a balmy 22 at 10 o'clock last night on the services north of France. But this morning, wet, grey. It looks like an April morning in Manchester.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear
Isn't
that.
Why the strangest thing? We had Seville is probably one of the hottest places in Europe, but yesterday it was struggling to reach 12. This morning it's already about 18.
Wow.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So is it the same sort of thing that happens in Spain then that you get here in Portugal, where it can be really cold in the morning and then blisteringly hot by mid-afternoon?
Yeah. Yeah, same.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Amazing. Okay,
I
and
think we're expecting about 27 here in Seville today and tomorrow, maybe up to 30 by the weekend.
Maybe we need to do the meetup there this afternoon. Why do so many people call rain awful? I love the rain, says James. It freshens the air, talking as a slug, I suppose, washes the land and hydrates the plant life. To me, rain is a glorious blessing. It's true. Yeah, well said. Well said. We just don't like to get
fine. But drive 800 kilometers in it.
Yeah, exactly. And you might get your travel blazer wet when you go out in the rain, of course. The Aristocrats was a fascinating film. So many famous comics giving the same joke, their treatment. Gilbert certainly held his own with the best. So more tributes coming in for Gilbert this morning. Jim White is here. Go on, mate. What's up, Doug? Are you ordering more breakfast or more?
Oh no, I want another coffee.
Do you? How many is that you've had this morning?
Later.
Here we go. So many generalizations that I'm being told off here. Spain, Spaniards, Apple people, the Portuguese. Next, we'll be making references to the cheese festivals. One of my
I'll upset some Belgians. The driving in Belgium. Oh my God.
Yeah, typical.
Move, signal, look.
It's the Italian driving that scared me, and I've only ever driven in Sicily and Naples, and both are as bad. Really frightening.
But you know,
I've driven in Rome, and I didn't have a problem. and
Really?
I've driven in central Paris numerous times. But honestly, Belgium, that frightens me because they're doing what the Italians do at 80 miles an hour. They're doing it at 110.
Okay.
And you say they don't indicate there. I say
Oh, well,
they.
they move, and then they indicate as an afterthought. It's not like the random indicating closer to home. It's a definite move first, then indicate, then look.
Amazing. So maybe they're all. Maybe another generalization. Are they all BMW drivers as well then?
Volvo.
No, Audi.
Audi. Okay. So I mean,
Audi and BMW.
It is a very interesting comment you make there, and I think Doc, you'll have something to say about this, of course. So generalizations. I guess it's okay to use generalizations because it's a lot easier when you know they're generalizations and they're not harmful. One of my favorite put downs, actually, from my French uncle, referring to cheese here, coming back to the cheese, James, is that he said when he was referring to British cheese, he had tasted both our cheeses. So I think the generalizations do come from some sort of truth, don't they? And it's so, we're going to have a very long conversation here if we talk about everyone as an individual. But it's part of human discourse, isn't it? To find yourself the right side of generalizations. What would you say about that, Doc?
Well, yeah. I mean, so I don't have this instant kickback against generalizations in general, but generalizations. So there are okay, I know, but so generalizations that are based on people's characteristics which are not chosen. And therefore are prejudicial.
Oh.
And like my comment about Belgian drivers, it has to be said, so I apologise.
They choose to drive badly.
They choose to drive badly, but they don't all choose to drive badly. And it's wrong to say all Belgians are bad drivers. But those who choose other grounds on which to generalise, like their politics, that's fair game,
That's a typical socialist thing to say there. Are you close to the border, Prof? We are 20 minutes and go for gas all the time. It's normally 0.25, 25 cents less per litre there. Also, the Roman hot springs are there and free. You have to weigh up, though, if it's worth driving these days to make the saving on the petrol, I think. That was a good one, James. Yes, the flat choir. This choir is singing flat. Very, very good, this one, just as we've come to expect. Gumper humour here. How are you all talking from the Atlantic? So offshore world, broaden your knowledge. Sounds like we need to get you on the show at some point. So are you talking from a vessel out there in the Atlantic? Amazing. In the middle of the sea, an oil field. We have a listener from an oil rig, everybody. Isn't that amazing? Offshore world,
wow.
Broaden your knowledge.
Keep it pumping. Keep it pumping. We need more.
Dougie needs more for his European tour. Carl, you must get to the core of the Apple problem. Oh, my word. Dad joke warning needed there. And so offshore world, broaden your knowledge, planning a move to Portugal this year. Great to have you here. Thank you very much. I did lose a lot of comments when I refreshed my browser. If you've said something important you want it included, please reassert yourself. I think you have to be able to show that you're the owner of the stuff in the van with a receipt showing the purchase. Can you believe that? That's why you must have a filing cabinet in the back of the van as well. Any help, guidance on the rental agreement? Well, Carl at expatsportugal.com, get in touch. I'd love to talk to you more how to solve this issue. The rental agreement is becoming more and more challenging, folks. Hughes gone. Who's this? Hugh. Hughes gone a bit max headroom. Maybe talking about you, Dougie, there, I think.
Oh, Hugh.
I'm calling you Hugh for some reason.
You went once.
Talk of the maybe that's it. Yes, for the decent reason. I thought that's what you meant there, offshore world. Carl at expatsportugal.com. Get in touch and we'll see what we can do to help you. Andy doesn't have the link. He does now. Morning, Leona. And this Easter
morning!
thing. Like, hey, steady now, steady. How are you enjoying?
Good morning, Leona.
The road trip, Leona?
I'm hating every mile of it.
Excellent. Well done. Happy Easter to you. So just found out this Friday is a holiday. Yes, folks, just so you know, it is. Well, and I think this is what happens. You will find out that things are closed on Friday. That's often the way you'll find out, just as Rebel Mama does. It's a Doug takeover. You didn't seize your moment there, did you, Doug? When some people
I did. I brushed you aside, I'm afraid, Carl.
Did you? This is all of human nature is here, isn't it?
Yeah, you vanished though. It was your fault.
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. On the screen. That's his fifth coffee there. I can hear you both fine, Carl and Doe. You're getting called Hugh and Doe this morning, and so we got through that bit where everyone was.
Is it Doe or Doe?
Bordeaux. Bordeaux from Coleraine. Williams here, loud and clear, Carl. Hear the both of you. That's fantastic. And to the OLP from Bordeaux. I spotted you two. Look, they spotted each other from other sides of the gardening show, and you have. I've noticed your absence from the morning show. It has been noted when this happens, folks. Somebody else knew. This is fantastic. Both are audible. Moving to Morganiera. I don't know where that is. Doug, do you know where Morganiera is?
Do you know? I've never heard of Morganiera, but is it Morganiera? No, moving to Morganiera. No.
Okay. We could all hear. Never heard of it. We could hear. Well, tell us. Yeah, please tell us more. Moving to Morganiera. We could all hear both of you. It was a Monty Python sketch come to life. Keep going. We love it. Well, that's good to know, isn't it? Don't know what you've done, Carl, but you are now muted. It happened 20 seconds ago. Oh my goodness. Your show, Doug. People encouraging an insurrection as well here this morning. Doug, wondering if he should keep on talking. What is the world coming to? Okay. That's a long old thread. Thank you, everybody, for your executive production on that. I'll scroll to the bit where we were okay again. Yeah, and that was when we were talking about the Prime Minister and the Chancellor. Before the Doc got here, you may have heard, Doc, there have been some shenanigans in Downing Street again. Do you have a view on that?
Of course he doesn't.
I mean, of course they should both resign, and then we'll see what a shit show both the Tories or indeed the Labour Party make replacing him, because
everybody's so fed up of them and their shenanigans. I'm inclined to agree with you, Doc.
What?
Yeah.
Available on playback. The Doc and the Doug agreeing with each other. We never saw that coming, but you're quite right. We can understand why.
Peace has broken out in no man's land.
Well, let's face it. Who would actually condone the kind of rubbish that they're pumping out daily?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, I don't want to dwell on it too long because it's difficult for some other people who have no sort of reference point on this and will just get angry. But suffice.
They played it on French radio news last night. They played Johnson's apology. Yeah, in full in English.
Wow.
Yeah, but how many apologies does he need to sort of produce before people get fed up?
I'll be a few more.
He has a filing cabinet full.
Yes, indeed, along with those receipts for what's in the back of the van. Question for Doug then. This is Ask Anything About Portugal, of course, despite our several diversions this morning. It's been a lot of fun, let's face it. What are the worst locations for mosquitoes along the Silver Coast? My wife and daughter have been bitten by them here in some. At the moment, this time of year, I am sorry to hear that. So do you find yourselves the recipients of mosquito bites? So let's go first to Dougie there. How do you deal with them, and is it bad on the Silver Coast?
I know last year when I was in Cascais, I was eaten alive, but I was also eaten alive down on the Algarve. And people said that one of the strangest things, that the cause of it was that people weren't actually looking after their swimming pools, and the larvae were breeding in them because of the pandemic, and these things weren't being serviced, so it was giving them an extra foothold. And they were everywhere, and they were horrible.
Okay, so you get eaten alive. What do you do about it, Doug?
there's not a lot I can do. I try and buy the pills and cold potions in the farmacias, but nothing seems to really work. You just have to put up with it. It's just
let's
one of
go.
those things.
Okay, you just have to put up with it, and it can be bad, Chris. Sorry you haven't got better news than that. Let's go for the medical approach then. Mosquitoes. Doc, what about you?
If you can hear me, because I'm having difficulty with the reception here, but I don't have difficulties with mosquitoes, but Leona does. She gets bitten very badly, don't you, darling? Yeah.
I've got that little watch.
Oh, what?
I think we're...
No, we can hear you. We can definitely hear you. And I heard you say a watch. I'm guessing you've got a little sort of insecticide wrist bracelet that you wear to get rid of the mosquitoes. So, Chris, I'm sorry it's not better news than that. Mosquitoes are a problem here in Portugal. And as Dougie was saying there, where people haven't been able to look after their pools properly, they've been breeding in the pools. I don't know. The further north you go, the less of a problem it's going to be, but the cooler it's going to be as well. What can you do about that? Just goes with the territory, literally there. This is an interesting question. My beige sofa needs cleaning. Any recommendations on cleaning products? We try and help every problem and challenge here on the Good Morning Portugal show. Spray on, vacuum, hoover off. Do either of you gentlemen have any tips on cleaning beige sofas?
I don't have anything. I don't have a beige sofa.
I'm not surprised to hear that.
It might have been beige once, but it's brown now.
I could go with the flow. Literally. I'm jealous of Doug's sunshine there. Should be sunny later today, but grr, you're upsetting the listeners with your sunshine, Doug.
Oh, I'm really sorry.
On Madeira, there is a great rum distiller. I saw another YouTube channel. What? There are other YouTube channels. The brand is O Resinho. Sounds like fun. I think the Doc might like a rum every now and then. Is that right, Doc?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah, absolutely. Leona had an answer for the cleaning the sofa. It was bicarbonate of soda, dry. Yeah, leave it on, rub it in, vacuum it off, or sponge it off.
Okay.
Personally, I just put a throw over it.
Yes, very good. That's so 70s. And very, very sort of Rajneesh almost. But do you do car karaoke is the next question coming in. And what are you going to sing for us, Leona and Doc? No.
Oh, goodness. So I'm really suffering with a toothache at the moment, so I can't guarantee to do car karaoke. I like karaoke a lot.
Well, the question is, will we, I suppose?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yes, well, we like the karaoke. So that means renting one, not at grocery stores like in Canada. Commercial carpet cleaning coming up the road. So try the bicarbonate of soda, Suze, as a first movie. I think it's pretty cheap to get in the supermarket. It's good for a lot of things, bicarbonate of soda, including your own alkaline level, although the doc might not recommend that. And I certainly am not giving that as medical advice, drinking bicarb, although I know people who do. Carl, get a VoIP telephone from the UK with text for your messages. I did this with my Canadian Apple, used Fongo, who do a worldwide service too. Life is challenging, but one on to circumvent the rules there. So there's a workaround, Fongo, and a voice over internet protocol phone. Okay, Reguengos de Monsaraz, you drive through this town to get to Monsaraz at the top of the hill, much like the other wall town of Marvão. Oh, so it's over that way. Alentejo, of course. Alentejo wine that I've been buying for Mrs. M from there, Reguengos de Monsaraz. Both worth visits. Yeah, Marvão is an amazing place, isn't it? Good God, Doc. This must have cost you 30,000 in petrol. That trip hasn't been cheap, has it, Doc?
No, although I get 37 miles to the gallon, whatever that equates to in kilometers per litre or litres per kilometre. But it's not been cheap. There was a calculation to be made,
I get 52.
Yeah. There was a calculation to be made in terms of getting my Ogo repaired and the cost of shipping it, and the other benefits of this trip. There were a couple of other things that we did. Well, your choice, darling. But one was to see Hugh and Emma, and the other was to see my sister. So yeah.
I heard something about a nice cologne, wearing a basque and meeting Matty. Sounds like one hell of a week. Well, that's nearly right, Pete. And we've got the pictures.
Oh.
They're not in wearing basques here. They are in their civvies here. There's look, Leona, Doc, and is that Matty in the picture there? Has he shaved his head? He looks very different.
It is, yes.
He's done something to his hair. Hasn't he?
And that was us in. Yeah, he's got rid of it. And it was an unnecessary extra.
What, his hair? He's now streamlined for his move back to Portugal. Okay,
exactly. Yeah.
Lovely picture there. Lovely. We love to see pictures of Gumpers getting together.
He gets more kilometres. He gets more kilometres per kilowatt.
People are doing the craziest things to save money on fuel now, including shaving their heads. Dutch people here in Portimao call it Holland. There you go. So there are other people who call it Holland. It's not just you old Brits. Germans also call them Holland. There you go. There are two provinces, Noord-Holland and Zuid-Holland, North and South Holland. So it's okay to do that. I think the cloggies is the Euro. There's another generalization which we may or may not be happy about there. Cloggies. Thanks, Doc. Getting off the ferry in North Germany will avoid Holland on my driving route. There you go. Another tip there that's being shared in the community here of Gumpers. Is Doug in the next Men in Black movie? Can you?
I am because of the shades. Yes, I am indeed. Yeah.
Have you got one of those things in your top pocket though?
What's that?
Well? Just to erase people's memories if they get on your nerves. What is that? You've got in there? Is that a crystal wand?
No, it's my normal glasses.
Yeah,
yeah.
Spectacles. Okay, I don't know what Folex is. Did someone?
Am I making a spectacle of myself? Am I?
Oh, very good. Where's my dad joke warning when I need it? Morning, everyone watching live for once. Well done, Fiona. Great to have you here. Typical Belgians. Add that to the list. The Belgians need the adrenaline. Oh my word! I can't believe you said that. I can't get used to driving anywhere other than Portugal now. Just remember, the white line is where the middle of your car should be. Okay, we're gonna go. We're gonna go with it's like Scarlett's trick, isn't it? That's maybe when the Portuguese drivers pick up the energy. Mirror, signal, maneuver, position, speed, look is the alternative.
Don't listen to him, Doc. It'll all go badly for you.
What is American cheese? A contradiction in terms, I think, isn't it? An oxymoron. Is it akin to cheddar? We're gonna go with the generalization this morning because we're having a bit of fun with it. No harm meant to anybody. Healthy move, Portugal. Red Leicester, Wensleydale, Wydale, Cream. Need we go on? Says Pete. Edam is a good replacement if you have run out of rubber washers. My issue with generalizations is that one up or one down, superior versus inferior, winners, losers. It's all in the conversation, James, but we get your gist there, mate. About the Spain-Portugal rivalry from João F. Oh, that's where we started this conversation, which is going to be stopping quite soon. It's nearly 10 o'clock. Here's what I think. Portugal and Spain have been going along together rather well for the past 100 years. Well, in geopolitical terms, that's an epoch, isn't it? That's something to be proud of there. So well said, João F. And I think, again, the generalizations are mainly for fun. The bad marriages and the bad wins. I didn't ask you directly. Have you had bad wins, Doug, since being in Spain?
No, I've been careful about my diet, so I'm okay.
Very.
The other thing, by the way, in Granada, there was a whole lot of Portuguese flags flying. I've no idea why.
Oh, okay. You'll get back to us on that, right? Oh, maybe. Hold on a minute. A plot twist, Portugal, Spain. Nevertheless, as the two countries have an almost 1,000-year-long history of constant and repeated wars, clashes and territorial disputes, with Portugal taking England's side in international politics and Spain almost always being against it, the result was an almost traditional genetical mistrust from the Portuguese towards Spain. So there you have
always the English, isn't it?
And it's in the conversation, isn't it? It's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, as ever, with us human beings. Bon dia, Portugal, from Diogo's here. Feliz Novo de para todos. Happy New Day to you all. Thanks, Diogo. Always good to have you here. João F. continuing with the Spanish-Portuguese rivalry, even as recently as the beginning of the 20th century, King Alfonso the 8th of Spain had to plan to invade to annexate Portugal to Spain. Yes, as recently as that. Hopefully, for the sake of peace, this sort of expansionism has grown out of the younger generation's minds. They're a lot more intelligent, aren't they, these days than we ever were, I think, so that's good. I tried to get my favourite unpasteurised cheddar imported, but they won't do it, so I may have to get Andy to bring some back. Can you imagine that? Unpasteurised cheese in the back of your car? all the way back from you, Portugal. That's not going to be happening, Pete, anytime soon, I don't think. Doc, Carl, Andy in one place. 3 for 1. There you go. And we're not charging it. We're not charging extra for that this morning. Just enjoy it, folks. Military style position means I'm half unpacked. Wow. Okay, that's very precise there, isn't it? Carl, Doug, and Doc, please can we have a show one evening where you seriously chew the fat on this? Seriously, under this administration, they have hung the Union Jack upside down. Metaphorically and literally, I suppose, there, haven't they?
Absolutely terrible.
Well,
the worst government I've seen for a long time. And I don't care what flag they fly. Awful.
Yep. And they've been in power for 12 years and they're still blaming the ones before them, aren't they?
Of course, yeah.
Maxine.
It's the Anglo-Saxons' fault.
Yeah.
What did the Romans ever do for us? Marval further north in Anatolia is equally spectacular. Yeah, Marval, put that on your list, everybody. Both Montserrat and Marval take us back in time to a time where you could hear Spanish marching towards Portugal, no doubt. Besides, one cannot ignore their wonderful restaurants with delicious food. Yes, I can attest to that over there in Castelo de Vide. Solar life. Pete, just remember, the white line is where the middle of your car should be. Joao F. enjoying that. Thanks, Doc, but I don't think the buyer will want a sofa with a throw on it. I will try soda. You can get rid of 2 things, though, for the price of one there, Suze. And here's an entrepreneurial idea. Create a product called bicarbonate of sofa for cleaning sofas there. You can have that. I'll have that one on me.
Very good.
The Doc does My Way brilliantly. Should we go out with that? I don't know. Can you stand that, Leona? Him singing My Way on the road through France. He can. Yeah. He can take that. Okay. We might go out. Yes, with your fingers in your ears. Monty from Michelle in Australia.
I was singing the Bonnie Tyler number, Lost in France.
That would be great as well, Doug. Cheese is very mild. And you could sing Uma Paloma Blanca, traditional British favourite in Spain there. They'll love it, all those people around you. Cheese is very mild, American cheese. It comes in plastic wrap slices. It's only good on a burger. Yeah, cheese that comes in a condom. You do have to be a little bit suspicious of that, I think. Bye, everyone. I have to goo. Who doesn't like a good goo in the mornings? On our way home on the bus, France was the most expensive out of Portugal, Spain, and France, and the bus does 18 miles to the gallon. Think yourselves lucky, folks. 18 miles to the gallon there. Amazing. Sorry, I'm scrolling through now because we're over 10 o'clock. But beautiful here in Australia. There are so many birds and so much bird talk. I need to record. Yes, we'd love to hear a recording of that. It would be delightful, says James. Yes, please. We will take that recording and we will play it on the show. Sue's on Australian cheese, cheddar and Monterey Jack would be more appropriate for that. I'm in California, so we have a lot more. If I do order a burger, I'd rather have American cheese. That is what it's made for. That is what it's made for. So over to you, gentlemen, and Leona, of course. Sorry, Leona, to leave you out there. But last thoughts from Spain, last thoughts from France. Let's go to you first, Dougie. Thank you so much for setting that all up for us and coming live from Seville. Any on all the various conversational threads we've had today, is there any way you can resolve them with a parting comment, Doug?
Not really, except it's been good to hear from everybody. And,
Carl, if you can hear me, I'm sorry, but I can't hear you at all. So we're going to say goodbye.
All right, mate. Take care. Thank you, Leona. Thank you, Doc. Do you know what? I thought he was going to say, if you can hear me, tell my wife I love her. But they just can't hear us anymore. So thank you so much. You can start singing My Way if you want over there. Yes. Well, bon voyaging. Have a great drive, you two, if you can still hear us. But Dougie, sorry, we interrupted you there.
Yeah, I'll be in Portugal in a couple of days, and maybe I can send you a few photographs or something from there, and just to catch up and keep in touch with all you Gumper types.
I think I've lost here in Portugal, Doug, and thank you so much for. Oh, really? It's been crazy with one thing and another this morning, hasn't it? I will do my best to put a few more pickies on at the end that people have been sending in. Otherwise, we'll carry them forward to tomorrow. Doug, thank you so much. Have another coffee for us, won't you?
Oh no more coffee for the rest of the day for me.
So he's moving on to the sherry, baby. What have you got planned? What are you doing in Seville today? if I may.
Just having a mooch around. We've been here a few times, so we've got a rough lie of the land. So we'll probably go for we know a couple of really nice tapasy places. Have a walk down to that beautiful palace and along the river and just enjoy it. It's gorgeous here.
Yep. And just learn a few more generalizations about Spanish people and culture.
Oh, then I'll get a black eye, but if I do that as well, so I think I'll leave that. They tend to be fitter than I am.
Yeah, there we go. There's the generalization again. Those fit Spanish people. Doug, thank you so much. Been great talking to you this morning as ever. Enjoy that beautiful sun over there, and we hope to have a little bit of ourselves here over in Portugal. See you later, mate. Thank you very much. See you soon.
Cheers for now. Bye-bye.
There he goes, Dougie from Seville. We had Doc and Leona, of course, on the road from France as well. What are you saying here in the comments on this rather turbulent show this morning? Buttons not working, people not being heard, people cutting in and out, people making generalizations. Thanks for all today. See you later at the meetup. Fantastic. Yeah, I think we're going to be inside, aren't we? They've got a little bit of seating outside if it does warm up, and we'll go for a little wander on the beach here at San Martino de Porto. And what's this? We're talking about codfish. That those sorts of contributions have to be heard. Dry codfish, salted dry codfish has a history to it, says Raoul, as it started being caught in the Greenland waters during the 9th century. They had no refrigerators. That's why they had to salt it, of course. And the only way to preserve it during the long months fishing campaign was to salt it and let it dry on the deck in the sun. Isn't that amazing? It does make a great dish. No, margarita makes a great dish. But so far, me and Mrs. have enjoyed sumptuous food all from within 50 miles of the village and mainly home cooked. Amazing, growing and rearing. So not so much of your saltfish there. Things grown and reared 50 miles, a 50-mile radius. That's some good food miles right there in it with Pete and Diane there. I think we did wish Diane a belated birthday, Bess, but if we didn't, I hope you had a great birthday. I'm sure you did, with all that lovely food from within 50 miles. Oh, yes, and the cheese festival, of course. Well done, Pete, on that. Thank you, everybody. It's been quite a ride this morning. It feels like we've been driving through France. We've been sitting in Spain, and here we are on the Silver Coast of Portugal, where I hope to see some of you later on today. I'll see how many pickies I can put up at the end, but for now, it's the outro. Have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you in the morning. All the best. Ciao, ciao for now.